What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're a little bit over a week, almost 2 weeks, over 2 weeks. I don't even know at this point, as of filming this, how long it's been since this dropped. I was out of town in Georgia celebrating me and my fiance's anniversary and her birthday, which was a great time, but I think even if that hadn't happened, to be completely and utterly honest, we just noticed over the course of the last little bit that this second part of season 3 of The Witcher has been out, that we just didn't have that like absolute desire. We need to watch this immediately, you know. And we were also really surprised and just upset that there was only 3 episodes in this second part. The first part had 5 episodes, so I figured this was gonna be like a 10 episode like season, and that we were gonna have, you know, some big finale setting us up for Liam Hemsworth in the next season. I'm here with the Big Rob Theory, as we've been talking about The Witcher on my channel since season 1. And quick recap, we both loved the first 2 seasons.
Absolutely.
And season 3 has just not been working for us. We did videos separately on our own channels for The Witcher Blood Origin, which was the spin-off prequel series. We did not enjoy that one at all. And so today we're going to be talking about part 2 of season 3 that came out. They decided to do what Netflix has been doing recently. I think they did it with Stranger Things first. Mm-hmm. And I did not like the season overall, guys. Part 2 was just as disappointing as the first part of this season, as we mentioned in that other video. If you guys want to go check out that video and get all our thoughts on that, go ahead. This is also going to be spoilers, I think I should say, because if you're watching part 2 of season, the first one we can be like, okay, cool, like here's our thoughts on the season if you haven't watched it yet. At this point, if you're coming here to watch our thoughts on part 2, we got to kind of talk a little bit of spoilers about the season.
We have to get specifics, you know.
So, I wasn't a fan, but I've been talking a little bit already here. And Rob, let's just get right into it, man. What were your thoughts on part 2 here, these last 3 episodes, but just season 3 in general?
So, as you said, man, season 3 has just genuinely been a bore. It has just genuinely been a bore. And more than anything, it has been confusion personified. Like, I just genuinely and truly am unsure as to why there are so many storylines. Okay, you know what? Hold on. Let me take that back. I don't mind that there's so many storylines as long as they all led to something good and led to something fulfilling. I should say fulfilling. And the best parts of this season were Henry Cavill, Anya Shalatra, and Freya Allen. That's pretty much it. I'm sorry, that's it. And you know, even Jaskier, the guy who plays Jaskier, I forget his name.
Joey Beatty.
Joey Beatty. Like, I like him. You know, I did like him when I first saw him. Yeah, he's a little bit annoying in this season. A little bit more annoying than I like. To be honest,
they gave him nothing to do.
They didn't give him anything to do, and it kind of just feels like he was just placed there for fan service. Right. And even then, you know. So the best parts were the trio. And why did the trio separate for half the season just to come back together, just to separate again, just to come back together, just to separate again? Mm. I really don't know. But you know what? We'll get more into that later. Overall, it was weak. You see it on his face, bro. It's just, this season was just not it.
And we should add on, as we've said in all these other videos, for anybody who's just hopping onto this reaction of the Witcher series, like, we are fans mainly of the show, and we've played some of the games. That's about it. We're not super fans. We're not like super knowledgeable when it comes to the books and the source material. We're just fans of it as a show. And we love fantasy, you know, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, whatever the case may be. We are fans of that kind of stuff. And when it comes to this, it just felt like it took a huge step down. There was no real grand sense of stakes. You know, the whole season is really about making sure that Cirilla doesn't fall into the wrong hands, played by Freya Allen, and they all give incredible performances. Yes. Like, that's the one thing, let's just get this right out of the fucking gate. The production value is incredible, and the performances are incredible. Nobody's giving a bad performance. A side actor, a main actor, nobody.
Yeah.
The costume design, the set design, just overall production value, outside of a couple of CG creatures that maybe looked a little more cartoony this season, I genuinely think the show looks flawless. Cinematography, musical score, they got that all down packed. Where it just lost us was the story. Like Robert said, it's confusion personified. There were so many different storylines going on, which, you know, I again, kind of similar to Rob, I don't ever really have a problem with, as long as it kind of comes together. And it felt like it just never really did. You know, there were elements that came together. So we're talking about part 2 here, the first episode of part 2, where it's like all out war between, you know, the wizards and all those guys. It was pretty awesome, like the you know, the king's people or whatever, and that was really cool.
Notch.
And I really enjoyed the visuals. I really enjoyed the cinematography. I was all in on the like some of the badass action here that did get led up to. But kind of like Rob said a moment ago, they separate the group, the main trio, where at the very beginning they aren't even playing around. Like the second that Geralt sees that there's humans around, like they're leaving. They're moving out of the area that they've been hiding in, and they're doing everything in their power to keep Ciri safe. You know, it just seems like they're not even playing games, and they've been doing this. There's a tiny time gap between the second season and this one. This is what they've been doing.
Yeah.
And one thing we're also going to touch on is how the final episode of the last season definitely gave us a huge tease for the Wild Hunt, which was essentially non-existent in this, rather than a mention and a quick moment of kind of seeing them, I believe. But it was in the earlier part of the season, and I honestly don't even remember it that clearly, to be honest, at this point. Yeah, they separate the group. They separate the group.
That's crazy.
Robert, why did they separate the group? Like, I don't understand it. You have the dude with the fire powers and stuff with the burnt face.
Oh man, yeah, that guy. Jeez.
Who Geralt easily could have killed when he broke his hands earlier, and that he was the reason that they end up getting separated at all. And then they kill him like nothing later on in the season in this first episode back to the Robert. Just it shed something light here that I maybe missed on why this was the direction they went.
So we talked about this before after we watched a few of the episodes, and he said it. He's like, yo, everything could have, look, guys, everything could have been avoided if when Henry Cavill's character Geralt just stepped through that portal, right where that guy was, he could have just done this. Kink. We wouldn't have had to separate. But, you know, okay, fine. He let him go. He's being a little bit cocky. Fine. He let him go. Great. Later on, they get together, and they just took him out in 0.3 seconds. I promise you, it happened so fast that I looked over at Anthony and Haley, and I'm like...
We just laughed. We laughed at how abrupt and like anticlimactic it was.
Because in seasons past, if that would have happened, we would have been like, oh, shit. But it just happened, and we're like... That didn't really feel earned. Nothing here felt earned. The stakes were pretty much non-existent. Yeah, there were stakes. Did we care? Absolutely the hell not, because the writing was just trash. No wonder Henry Cavill was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm bouncing, because for him to not even be, for them to have Liam Hemsworth come in now, the last 2 episodes, Geralt, what was he doing? He was just his back got broken by some wizard that we still don't even know his name, because whatever. And he like somehow had this rigid vendetta that we didn't even.
The show
man,
is there were
wild.
some poor choices here near the end as a finale, especially and maybe they filmed this before Henry Cavill chose to leave, but like with Liam Hemsworth coming in, this whole season is about protecting Ciri and saving her, and the season is over. And none of that ever happens. And she's out on her own now doing her own thing. But it just feels anticlimactic. It just felt dull. And there was just a lot of storylines with a lot of dialogue scenes that just felt like they led to nothing. So you'd have these moments where you're like, what were they even really talking about in that scene? Don't get me wrong. That's not to say that there wasn't great moments between all of our main characters in the show. Like, there was absolutely great moments. It wasn't like a complete dog show, like, or dog shit show. I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore. I'm keeping that in. I'm not even cutting that out.
That's funny as hell.
I gotta be real, man. It's like I'm sitting here just thinking about the series and how much I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons and how much I followed it. And you know, one of my criticisms, and I've said it in each of these videos, one of my criticisms of the first 2 seasons was sometimes some of the dialogue is so dense with the lore and the like. You noticed the focusing? I'm sorry for the focusing, guys. I don't know. My camera's doing something weird, so I'm keeping this in too. We're keeping it real and raw right now.
Yeah, honestly,
it just
is terrible.
It just was like the first 2 seasons were so
well written
and just easy to follow. You had all the characters, and there was dense dialogue at times, and there was stuff that maybe like felt like I didn't necessarily fully follow everything that they said, but I kind of got it. And it's just like, again, we're fans of this kind of stuff, so we watch stuff where they name all this stuff that's within universe that we don't know fully, or planets or places or creatures. Like, I'm totally comfortable and familiar with that. With this show, it just sometimes feels like when the end of a conversation would happen, I'd just be like,
huh? Like literally.
Yeah, like there were so many times the scenes ended that we looked at each other, we're like, why did they even really do any of this? So
Man.
it just, we obviously are upset about the fact that they separated the characters, and there's really no big like hurrah, they saved the day. You know, it ends still with the journey to go save Ciri, and I think part of the thing that's just going to be kind of weird about this show now is to see Liam Hemsworth come in and
With zero chemistry.
and have to like give us the same, like make us believe that this version of Geralt is like really wanting to save Ciri, like, and you know, he mentioned it a second ago, Henry Cavill's out for the last 2 episodes. Like, he's literally harmed. The second to last episode is all about Ciri in the desert and kind of having a spiritual. I'm just rambling at this point. Like,
No. You're speaking facts, though. You're speaking facts. It's just honestly, that episode with her in the desert. I understand what they were trying to do, but I guess the execution, in my opinion, was just not it because of how the show.
There was
already
cool
going.
moments within that for sure, but like it's like this. I just felt bored by the time this episode was over, you know. And it's like I can appreciate how well made it all is, but the writing just never gripped me this season, man. And you know, we had a little bit of worries when we saw Blood Origin because we really weren't fans of the writing of that show. Like we really did not connect with the characters, but then we saw that the same writers are the same ones who write The Witcher, and it was like we're wondering, you know. And then Henry Cavill decides that he's gonna leave, and it's like, is there maybe an element of him just kind of like you know, like I don't know, like it's not even him. Like, is there a moment of this whole situation where you're looking at it and you're just like that maybe they've lost their way, like with the writing, you know, and apparently they're moving away from the source material, and it's So obviously we've talked a little bit about the main three. Rob, let's get into another character here that we wanted to talk about that definitely, I think, was one of the strongest characters outside of the main three. And that is the character of Tissaia, played by Mayana Buring. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. So, Robert, thoughts on her as a character in this season, and thoughts on how they kind of wrapped up her story in this season?
Man, wow. Okay, so in the beginning, you know, as in the beginning, season 1, Tissaia, I was like, wow, she is a bitch. Oh my god, she is a stone cold bitch. But as time went on, I grew, this is going to sound crazy, but I grew to love the bitchy aspect of her, because when you get down to it, she's very loyal and she cares. She genuinely cares. She just has a weird, twisted way of showing it. Right. But by the time we get to this season, we're already in love with her, bro. You know what I mean? Right. Like, we're in love with her in a certain
They did some
way.
good character work on her.
Yeah, her character development, hell yeah. So what I'm about to say, it baffles me still to this moment, and the more that we talk about this is the more heated I get about it. And it's just crazy because the way how they wrapped up her story. Okay, at the conclave, major spoilers, but hey, you said it in the beginning.
We're far into spoilers at this point.
At the conclave, when there was this whole war that happened at the conclave, that maybe I did miss something, because I don't even understand how that got to be like that, because everybody got murked. Everybody got murked in this scene. I'm like, wait, whoa, this is dope. But what the hell happened? Who invaded it here, and how did they get in? And somehow, Filcaforts or Filcafish, whatever his name is.
Wanted this. What's the name of the fish?
Gefilte fish. Gefilte fish.
Gefilte fish.
He was just the twisted one all along somehow, and I don't even know how he would have had the time to do that. But whatever. Okay, I'm rambling now. But anyway, they wrapped up Tissaia's story. She had a Thor and Ragnarok moment against Hela, where lightning came from her hands, and anyone she looked at died. Dope as all hell. Right. Wow, that was beautiful. And then her hair turned white, and she got a little bit weak. But I like that, because that shows that, yo, this is what she's been holding in since like the dawn of time that she's existed. And she let it go, and she was able to kind of shake it off a little bit. And, you know, she just needs to get her strength back. But she feels like she failed her people, because people got murked, bro. Like, people's faces got melted, and arrows went through their chests and their eyeballs and everything. Yo, bro, it was crazy. It was crazy. That was one of the better scenes, you know, and it was very gory. I loved it. But you have such a badass character and a loyal character, and somebody who's so low-key OP, in my opinion. Very OP, actually. Right. Not even low-key. She's getting lit with the girls, and all of a sudden she kills herself. Why? Why did she kill herself?
So near the end of the season, you know, all the characters are setting up to kind of set off on their own things to save Ciri. Geralt finally ends up getting like better after his back being broken, and he's off to find Ciri with Jaskier. And then you have what's it called? You have Yennefer going off with all the different witches and mages and all those guys, and they're all gonna go destroy whoever they gotta destroy to get Ciri. You know what I'm saying? Like that's that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
You know, like they're gonna go get the guys to get Ciri, but Ciri's off on her own, and she, you know, I think her name is Falca now or something like that is what she calls herself. That's what she asked everybody to call.
Yeah,
I think it was something like that. And yeah, you have to say pretty much saying that she's going to, you know, join them, and they're all gonna go battle together. And then she decides to write a suicide note and slit her wrist. And I just genuinely like and listen, I'm gonna say this just honestly. I feel like I'm pretty good at following movies. If you watch the channel for a while, and I feel like I'm pretty good at following movies and TV. I'm sure Rob is too here. And we all looked at each other and we're like, did we miss something? Did we miss something here? And so if you're watching this saying you guys completely missed it, please comment.
Yeah, honestly,
I will accept the feedback here.
Like,
you know, like I just, what did we miss as far as the way that story played out? I don't really know what else to say on this season. I wasn't a fan. I just felt it was very incredibly well made and fun to look at, but the episodes were boring and dull and long, and I never really got connected to the story, even though I was excited. And we mentioned earlier, let's not do what the season did. They teased the Wild Hunt. The Wild Hunt was in here for like 3 seconds and never is a threat in the season, actually. And I'm just like, you know, we play the video games. And it's
Wild
just
Hunt is a big thing, so it's like
right. And so like the tease of the last season was like
for nothing. And then we have Mr. Oh God, we have Mr. Robbie Amell. Okay, and look, he, you know, a very CW-esque actor in my opinion, even before he was on the CW. And yes, as Firestorm, yes, he's good, ish. And we got him here as some somewhat badass elf with a terrible accent. I can't say shit really because I can't really put on a good accent, but I'll commit to it if I have to. My man was saying something and it sounded like Yiddish and British and English all in one, and I don't even understand.
it was. Listen, I'm not good at accents in general, especially not an English accent, but he was trying to put on some sort of accent from that part of the world. I'm assuming it was English or maybe like Scottish. I don't know what accent he was trying to put on, but it was literally like if I was just in a scene of The Witcher and I was like, "We need to take the camps. We can't let them get us." Like that terrible accent you just heard is pretty much what it sounded like Robbie Amell was doing. Yeah, we were watching him. We couldn't help but laugh, and we forgot to mention him in part 1. He dies in part 1 of this season, but at this point, who cares?
Yeah, it's not a very impactful death. I think we can both agree.
Yeah.
It's not an impactful death. I hate to say that about death. Wow, that sounds really bad. But like, it's not an impactful death. It happens, and you're kind of like, oh. All right, next scene, you know, and then we have fucking Jaskier and the King's brothers. Oh my God, bro! There's so many things about this season that just made no sense.
I just wish I would have had any real like passion to talk about this, you know. So, yeah, guys, I honestly don't know what else to say on season 3 of The Witcher. Will we be around to cover season 4 when Liam Hemsworth drops? Yes. Do I hope we love it?
Yeah.
Am I worried as to all fucking hell? Absolutely. I don't know, you know. I'll slap up some of those like AI or edit like Photoshop edits I've seen pop up of Liam Hemsworth as the character. You guys let me know. Do you think he's really gonna be able to like hold his own up against a performance following a performance by Henry Cavill? I don't dislike Liam Hemsworth as an actor, but I just don't think I've ever seen him anything that really sells me on the fact that he's gonna give us something that could replace Henry Cavill as an actor. I just don't know how I feel about it. So definitely pop off down below. Rob, any final thoughts?
Season's trash, guys. But you know what? I am a very open individual, you know, so if again we did genuinely miss something, because hey, we definitely could have, please let us know down below. And we're not kidding. There's constructive criticism and we welcome it, because the three of us were like, all right, what's happening here? Because there were times that usually we like say a few things to each other during an episode. For like the first 25 minutes, maybe half hour of the episode, we were silent because I'm sitting here in my chair like, okay, hold on, like I really don't want to sound stupid or look stupid. I know they wouldn't judge me, but like I don't want to sound stupid, but I really don't know what's happening here. Like, I really don't know what's happening. And then finally, one of us said something, and we were like, thank God. Because, so, I don't know. Maybe we missed something. Please let us know. And I really don't have anything else, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know why Tisea killed herself.
Closing the Notebook.
Tisea was a beautiful...
Wrong, gone wrong.
I'm dead. Tisea was a beautiful character, like, both physically and mentally and emotionally. And one of the best character development things I've seen, you know,
Right.
in the show. To be honest with you.
That happened this season, yeah, like,
And yeah,
because there wasn't much of it.
and yeah,
Even the main three characters, Ciri was the only one who, we're done.
yeah.
Comment down below. The Witcher season 3 was not great. All right, bye guys. See you later.
Until the next one.